What's good, everybody? Karmelo may have a fighting chance. Now, listen, we are starting with a major update in Karmelo Anthony's case. According to TMZ, Karmelo's legal team has officially filed an appeal following his conviction of 35 years, which was his sentence. Now, the appeal process is now underway, and reports indicate that a number of high-profile figures, legal figures that is, are stepping into this high profile case as well. Advocates such as Texas NAACP President Gary Bledsoe stepping in, veteran civil rights attorney Brooke Cluse, and the appellate attorney Russell Wilson II. Now, this move signals that Karmelo supporters are preparing for a long legal battle as they challenge the outcome of the trial. And listen, we also going to get into Amazing Lucas and his reaction to the newly released video evidence and the footage that has now been made public. So we'll break that down. We'll break down all the footage. Salute to everybody. Welcome on Go. I would like y'all to hit the poll. I would like y'all to drop a like, share this video if you can, subscribe to Ootaongo, and make sure you hit the notification bells so you're notified when we're dropping new content, all right? So let's get right into the new update by TMZ. As you can see, Karmelo Anthony brings out the legal big guns to pursue his appeal. All right. The fight for Karmelo Anthony's freedom is heading into the next round, and a new group of heavyweight attorneys are now leading his effort to overturn his conviction. A team including Texas NAACP President Gary Bledsoe, veteran appellate court lawyer Russell Wilson II, and civil rights attorney Brooke Cluse announced Monday it has taken over the case and will conduct an independent review of the trial record while pursuing all available avenues of appeal. Now, as TMZ previously reported, Anthony was convicted of unaliving Austin Metcalf and sentenced earlier this month to 35 years in prison. He had signaled that he wasn't done fighting the case almost immediately, filing a notice of appeal in less than 24 hours after his conviction. Now, the newly assembled legal team says that its focus will be on determining whether any errors occurred during the proceedings and raising any issues it believes could support overturning his conviction. Now, the lawyers say that they're taking a fresh look at the case. I think that's a good look. Take a fresh look at this case. Them defense attorneys that he had was shoddy. It was a lackluster performance, lackluster defense. And they also acknowledge that the toll the case has taken on both families. That's a good thing because it has taken a toll on both families, saying that the tragedy forever changed multiple lives. Now, Anthony's conviction stems from the fatal unaliving of Metcalf during a confrontation at Frisco, Texas high school track meet. Anthony claimed that he acted in self-defense, but jurors rejected that argument and found him guilty of M. And as we previously reported, a Texas court recently unsealed a mountain of evidence from the case, including body cam footage, surveillance video, 911 calls, crime scene photos. Among the newly public materials were clips showing Anthony's emotional interaction with the police officers after the fatal unaliving. Now, Anthony's legal fight isn't over, but his next move depends on what his new team uncovers. And I think that this is a good look for Karmelo Anthony. It seems like, I've been doing my history on a few of them. I know about Eric Bledsoe. I'm learning a little bit more about Brooke Cluse. I've seen some of the cases and things that she was working on. And I'm learning a lot more about Russell Wilson II, who is a veteran appellate court lawyer. So I think this is his best chance for an appeal. Like I said, based on what the defense actually did during the trial, I think it was pretty shoddy. I think that they let him down. Many people say the fix is in. He didn't have any black jurors on his jury, but it was 5 white women, 5 white men, 2 Middle Eastern women, 1 Middle Eastern man, 1 Asian woman, and I think 1 Hispanic woman. You know what I mean? So non-black people, but it did have other people besides people who you would deem as white that were on his jury. I think they've got a mountain to climb, though. They most definitely have a mountain to climb. be it that a lot of motions have to be brought up in front of the judge during your trial. These are the things that help you in getting a new trial. These are the things that help you during your appeal. And I feel that his defense really didn't drive a lot of things home. In the very beginning, from the opening arguments, when they came out from the beginning, they went to reference that he did camping and stuff like that, but they didn't do much to drive home why did he even have the weapon at all. Many people could speculate that he had the weapon and brought it there to have an altercation. I think they dropped the ball on that. Me personally, I think that they individualized him by also in the opening arguments, they said that he and his family was from Louisiana, even though be it true, it is true, they're from Louisiana and they moved to Texas for a better life. But also what that does is isolate you because now you're in Texas, right? You're in a place where everybody basically knows everybody in this little county, right? So it kind of seemed better for people to think that you were really from Texas. If they find out that you're not, if the prosecution push that you're not, then that's something else. Then you can go to combat in that. I think that kind of put him on an island because people look at you like, okay, so you was living where you was living and then you came here to do this to one of us. So many people that's from Texas can feel that way, because you're not one of them. You actually moved here. So that's something that we need to look forward to. But I do think that I know Eric Bledsoe is a shark. I know he's a shark. I heard a lot about Brooke Cluse. I'm doing my more research on her. I'm learning more, like I said, about Russell Wilson II. So I'm going to most definitely be doing the backgrounds on each of these lawyers, as well as other people that are stepping in to help him fight this case. Some people, even his own father, said he should have had a white attorney as well. I think you mix up your defense team, maybe some white people, maybe some black people, whatever. And then if it all goes wrong, then you bring out the civil rights big guns. Then you bring out the NAACP. Then you bring out some of these people to try to represent you and hold you down. But we also going to go into Amazing Lucas. All right. We're going to get into Amazing Lucas and his reaction to all of the newfound evidence that has been revealed to the public now. He most definitely lifted the sealed on the evidence, on the photographs, on everything. I did a live on the evidence, the photographs, the prosecutor's photographs, the defense's photographs, the body cam footage from both Cortez and Richie, couple of angles that they had of the actual altercation. So I went through a lot of that. Please don't follow what TikTok is saying. TikTok will get you caught up. They're saying a bunch of things, but realistically, Karmelo and Austin arrived within 2 minutes of each other. That's it. 54, 56. By 10, the altercation was happening. By 10:05, responders was on scene. By 10:07, they were working on Austin. And by like 10:12 or so, they were already bringing out that blue talk where the officer said that he was just trying to preserve the evidence and the weapon that was left on the bleachers. And then he ended up grabbing a random book bag because book bags were left there. He put the book bag there, and just so happens that book bag was Karmelo Anthony's book bag. So that's just some of those facts that we just want to put on the board for y'all right now. Let's get into Amazing Lucas and see exactly what he had to say as well about the newfound evidence.
I am man enough to admit when I'm wrong, and I am wrong. The video footage of Karmelo Anthony and the event has come out, and it's clear as day that I was 100% wrong. Damn. And what I was wrong about is my belief in hoping that upon the facts and evidence upon this video footage being released, that these wicked and demonic people would change their minds. And sure enough, they haven't. Got him! The lineage of evil is still on evilin, because it's clear as day that when you look at this video footage, that anyone saying that, oh, this proves that it was murder, is either incompetent or racist. Those are only two options at this moment in time. Because my stance, my position, which I still hold today, is that his defense was incompetent. And it was either incompetent or they were in on it together, where they very much threw him under the bus because they wanted a guilty verdict. That's what it was. And there are other attorneys who have admitted such when it comes to, hey, he should have rebutted this when the prosecution was saying this, that the defense was just sleeping. When it comes to the video footage proves everything that I have been saying, proves everything that, that other people have been saying. which is who is the aggressor? Austin Metcalf. We see this in the video footage. I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. Now, you can try and play mental gymnastics and say, oh, he wasn't aggressive, but he clear as day was.
Not one lie told yet. I'll tell you if I think he's lying. Not a lie told yet. It seems that Austin was the aggressor, and the initial aggressor initial instigator was Hunter, who came and confronted Karmelo first, and then Austin accelerated the situation. One witness testified that Austin moved so fast towards Karmelo that he knocked Eddie off of his seat when he went to go grab Karmelo and put him in basically this football move, grabbing him by his jersey, like that's a football move like this, to lift him up. Austin being like 6'2", right? Karmelo sitting down low. So that means you got to reach down to grab him, and you got to reach and to pull him up to you. And then maybe that shove happens that we think we can see from the distant footage, all right? Some people are saying, I mean, even one woman from in front of the court who was a white woman, she said that she felt like Austin basically fell on the knife. It could be momentum, Karmelo pulling out the weapon, and it'd be two worlds colliding. It could be a situation like that. Not so much that he just trying to poke him. That's a big thing. We did see somebody had some camera footage. We don't know about did the investigators go about obtaining this footage? If you see right there, someone's filming right there. What happened to this person that was filming? Is that one of the people that was end up pursuing Karmelo after, running behind him, pointing? But what happened to this camera footage? You know, they're young students. You know, they just can't just run down and take it. But, you know, if it's a real investigation, they can, but they have to go about getting consent from someone's parent, all right? Cool, let's get back.
Karmelo Anthony was sitting with these people for quite some time. The only time that any type of disruption erupts was the existence of Austin Metcalf. Karmelo Anthony didn't, poke anybody during that time that he was called over there to sit down under the canopy. Nothing happened. There was no fights. Everybody was chilling and sitting down and talking. That's what it showed. Now, it was only until Austin Metcalf got over there that an issue started to arise, and then put hands on him, and then he got poked and he's no longer here. Karmelo Anthony runs, to the coach. Coach brings him back and mums a word. Even in the second video, we hear Karmelo Anthony crying, right? He's crying. I told him, not to put his hands on me.
I think he was analyzing.
Memorial tent over there, guys. All right.
He put his hands on me. I told him not to. He put his hands on me.
He's asking, hey, is he going to be all right? Officer says he doesn't know. Now, if you want to believe that that's the headspace, that's the mindset of a rabid, killer, you can go ahead and believe that. But once again, that falls into two camps of thought. Either you're a racist or you're ignorant. That's it. Those are only two options. And in many of these videos, and many of the people doing, videos on this footage, that's really what it boils down to. You have a lot of white ignorance, and then you have a lot of Sambo soldiers. There's nothing we can do about that, because we know.
Sambo soldiers is classic, bro. Sambo soldiers. Now we running with that slang. Sambo soldiers, crazy, Lucas.
If the roles were reversed, we already know what would have happened. We already know that they would be blaming the black kid. Oh, why did he just, get someone else? Why did he even, attack this, poor little white kid? We already know that would happen. Why do we know this? Because we have a history of this behavior. And I'm pretty good at pattern recognition, okay? The same people who are trying to justify Austin Metcalf pushing Karmelo Anthony are the same people who validated Daniel Penny. Daniel Penny, who snuffed the life of a black man who put no hands on anybody. He put no hands on not one person in that subway, and his life was taken from him. And what does he get as a reward? He gets to go to the White House and takes a picture with J.D. Vance and President Trump. All these people celebrating that. What are we talking about? We have the same people who had no problem with Shiloh Hendricks calling a black child an N-word and then raising nearly $1 million off it. Damn, all these people celebrating. We have most recently Chud the Builder. All these people who are vilifying, black people who said that they may put hands on this person. Where they're saying, hey, you're going to put hands on someone over words? Is that what you're going to do? All these same people who are champion Chud the Builder are now vilifying who? Karmelo Anthony.
Thank you.
These people are hypocrites, okay? There's no video footage that'll come out. There's no argument that can be presented to them if they're ignorant, right? If they're low IQ, or B, if they're a racist.
You can't fix stupid.
Now, at the end of the day, I have no dog in this fight. So I could look at this case and I could be impartial to it. It was like, I don't know Karmelo, I don't know Austin. And I can only just look at the facts and the evidence. Now, people can say, hey, it wasn't self-defense. Sure, you can say that. But I very much believe that there is a good case for self-defense. All I wanted was for that case to be presented to the jury, which it wasn't. Damn. But anyone acting like this is the nail in the coffin for their racist, prejudiced take on Karmelo Anthony, I mean, that's what it is. They're either low IQ or they're racist. As simple as that. Because at the end of the day, this video footage really doesn't prove anything. At the end of the day, it doesn't prove, I would argue, it doesn't prove self-defense and it doesn't prove murder. At bare minimum, you can honestly say, due to Austin no longer being here, manslaughter. That's what I was thinking, manslaughter. If both the prosecution and defense were manslaughter at the end of the day. Because there's no way you can say, oh, look, see, it proves it. No, it doesn't. It's very blurry. It's very grainy. You have the testimony of these kids who were inconsistent, something that the prosecution themselves even admitted to. So it really would have boiled down to who had the better narrative. That's it. Who had a better narrative? Who had a better argument? Who had the more convincing argument to sway the jury? And at the end of the day, it was the prosecution. You had
Prosecution, they won that battle. A court case just like this, such as these, it's like football. It's like a game of inches. Some days you get a little further than the other side, and it's like that. And I think that the prosecution came right out the gate. They were objecting from jury selection. They were objecting all through the case. Some say that the defense team only objected about twice. People that I seen that was in the court said they only witnessed like maybe two, 3 objections the whole time. And you have to raise your objections, whether the judge sustains them or overrules them. This is how you get to see if something was done wrong. When you raise your objections, when you bring up your motions on the record, you have to put everything on the record. And this is how you go about getting new trials. This is how you even get helped with your appeal. And his defense dropped the ball on that front. That's a fact.
People who are going to the courthouse, watching the trial and saying that. They were saying prosecution is really on it. Prosecution is really on it. The defense is not really doing anything. Now we see why the jury came to that conclusion. We just had Rick Chow. Now, the case seemed to be open and shut. You shot somebody in the back, that's donezo, game over, right? But because the because the defense was so good at his job, what happens? They gave reasonable doubt to a jury. Rick Chow?
The transcripts have not been released yet. I've been in contact with the actual court reporters and people in Texas to actually report it on this case. I've been waiting for the actual transcripts. Hopefully, I've been checking my email every day. I contacted them maybe, it's been a few days ago, could be close to a little week, soon coming up on a week. I contacted the court reporter, Jan Duggar. And so I'm waiting to see what this looks like. I was put in contact with somebody from Texas to the actual court reporter. Some people were saying that the judge actually put a hold on transcripts and stuff like that. But we do see that he did unseal all of the evidence, the photographic evidence, body cam footage, and the actual footage from the field. So hopefully there's no hold on the transcripts, and I'm on wait for that right now, as well as a couple of other people said they're on wait for the transcripts as well. So as soon as I get the transcripts, we on go. So you ain't got to worry about that one. Facts of life.
Gets free. So at the end of the day, anyone who has an IQ above room temperature, any attorney who's competent and good at their job will tell you that really the facts and the evidence don't matter. What matters is how you use those facts and evidence to either defend your case or attack your opponents. Because you can look at a video and give a different context, and another person can look at a video and give a different context. You can look at the facts and evidence and see a completely different picture than someone else. And that's where we get into why it's so important to have good legal representation. But when we look at the flip side of this, we come to the Sambo soldiers. Now, what makes the Sambo soldiers so heinous is that they're not seeking truth. They're seeking to be anti-Black. That's what you have to understand. And I won't even say that it's pro-white in some cases, because at some point in time, I used to believe that, hey, they were just, they were just, tap dancing for white people. Now, many of them are, but at the end of the day, what you have to understand, whether they're tap dancing for white people, Asians, whoever it is, who the common denominator is black people. And they will always be anti-black. And because of this anti-black sentiment, I mean, they get rewarded for it. And it's easy to see, because when many of them, if you look at them, they're very uneducated and they're usually low IQ.
Yeah, he's talking about a lot of black people that's online, and he feels like he calling them Sambo soldiers. They're just doing it to grift. They're just doing it to probably get PayPals, get Cash Apps, and just to get on the white people's side. So he's calling these people Sambo soldiers. Mel says, I bet watching the world. I mean, Phil says he bet Watching the World 777 did a good job. He actually did a good job. He's one of the people that I was in contact with Queen Sheba, Meek at Night, my homegirl Nick Nack from TikTok, Sherrod the Ock from TikTok, all like with a plethora of people. But those are 5 people that I had specifically at the trial. And that's where I was getting a lot of my information from during the whole trial. So I wasn't even worried about the news. I got people on calls. I got everybody's phone numbers, that type of vibe I was on. So when I'm speaking about this case, I'm just speaking about it through the lenses as well of people that was in the courtroom, not from legacy media, the big news companies. I was covering the Diddy trial, and I see how they just push out a narrative just to push whatever they want to push, So I like to get it from people like us that are out there writing notes, jotting down. And I know that Mel take good notes, Meek at Night, Queen Sheba, they taking great notes, and they like me. They try to write down everything that they're hearing, everything that they're seeing from inside and outside the court, because that's how you got to cover this thing. You got to put us who are not there. I had my ticket to go, had to take care of my children, but us that are not there, they put us right in the seat in the courtroom with them. So shout out to them for doing great work. Shout out to my girl, Mal. Thank you. I appreciate you so much, Queen. I appreciate you. Let's get back to my guy.
They're usually inarticulate, or there's some type of handicap that they have. And, there's a racist base of people in this country that like to see that. They like to see, a circus. they like to see the freaks at the circus and stuff like that. This is a common pastime of this lineage of evil. So when they get like a tantrum, or when they get a conservative perspective, or when they get these people, it's very much watching, oh, good job. This is awesome. This is really cool to see this. So when we look at, I think the Cartier family, it seems that they're doing like a Three Stooges type of thing. And what do they try to make it? They try to downplay, racism in this country. Oh, you think the white man can do all of this? Is that what you're saying? You think the white man can do all of this?
I told y'all. They really, they really believe that the white man.
No, I seen a video.
You know what?
Them guys, Sambo vision. Look, these guys right here, bruh, doing it for the money, bruh. Doing it for the money. Just shucking and jiving, homie. If you got a feeling that you feel, you can't stop no one's opinion. Some people's talking, and you could just see what they doing it for. And I think they down in the South. They act like they never seen racism before. Weird as hell to me, bruh. Weird as hell. I'm not even gonna hold you, bruh. They out on.
What that means, though, guys, that they saying that white people in America got so much supremacy and so much power that a regular guy, hardworking guy like Jeff Metcalf could just go in the courtroom and read the courtroom for his white son and his white family.
Hardworking guy like Jeff Metcalf. Straight scraces. He couldn't wait to get scraces with everybody, calling people watermelon felons, calling people N-words and all of that. I done been around white people and all that. I know white people since kids, bro. We done argued and all that. They done got into all that. They ain't call nobody no N's. They ain't do nothing. And they was trying to unalive each other. So when that racism is in you, it's in you. It's in you, man. Not everybody's racist, bro. But some people, it's in. And these guys right here is Sambo soldiers, just like Amazing Lucas said. I got to agree with him, man. I got to agree with him, bro. So
For the white jury.
Yeah, so he can prove that his son wasn't innocent, so he can just send this black away for the rest of his life.
I think that's ridiculous.
I miss you like a hog miss fly, like a baby miss mammy titty.
Now, in cases like this, you don't take the Three Stooges seriously, right? You have to acknowledge that the Three Stooges are doing what the Three Stooges do, right? They're not very, highly intelligent based off their analysis of this case and constantly talking about, oh, the black people, bro, they just think the white man is doing all of this. That's not like some, high IQ take analysis of the country and its relationship with Black America. Like, there's nothing there. It's very superficial drivel.
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
And that's what they get paid to put out, because it has nothing to do with what the white man is in control of and what the white man can do, or whether or not you get to get poked upon pushing somebody. None of those are actual valid arguments. No one with an IQ above room temperature is saying upon you pushing someone, you should get poked. No one's saying that. What we are saying is, A, you should keep your hands to yourself. And B, you are not in charge of how someone else responds. You may not like how this person responds. You may think it's wrong, but we have to look into the eyes of this person. And when it comes to Karmelo, I've already gone through a lot of factors that weren't even brought up in case. The size discrepancy, right? Austin Metcalf's 6'1", over 200 pounds. Karmelo Anthony, 5'7" or so, under 140, soaking wet. Karmelo Anthony's sitting, Austin Metcalf is standing. That means he's towering over him. Another factor when they come to, it was in the chest. There is nothing in that video or anything proved in court that said it was intentionally lunged into the chest. There's nothing there, right? This is all them. This is once again, their bias. This is their prejudice coming out. But to act like someone who's coming off a shoulder injury, who has epilepsy, who is clearly nonviolent in this situation, who was clearly aggressed by Austin Metcalf, sitting down, not causing anything, didn't have any problems prior to Austin Metcalf, to act like he's some cold-blooded murderer is ludicrous. Unless, once again, you're low IQ or you're just racist, right? You hate black people.
That's true. That's true.
But to act like there was no way in God's green earth that he ever could feel that his body would possibly be in serious injury from the 6'1" linebacker is, come on now. You got to be honest, but they can't be honest because they're too busy tap dancing.
Beta.
Another person we have who's nothing more than a bucket of stupid is Tantrum. He loves, in this clip, criticizing black women and their hair and everything, but he never brings, a cogent argument. There is no cogent rebuttal. And you'll see this time and time again throughout this pattern, because many of the black conservatives out there, they're very low IQ. So they can't analyze a situation and give a cogent argument. They can't give a rebuttal, right? So what they do is they try to play on stereotypes. They try to play on talking points that they know is familiar with their white ignorant base.
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
There is no thinking going on with many of these people. It's just regurgitation. That's what they are, nothing more than NPCs, because they don't have the IQ to really formulate a thought of their own. That's why they go and regress and say, well, black people aren't a monolith. Well, I'm a free thinker. Those are white talking points, that has been handed down to these people to be mouthpieces. That's it. So you have Tantrum talking about, there is no video of this and everything. And, you just came up with it off the top of your head.
A picture at a party they having a time. There is an alleged post from Austin, from, of course, before he passed, that, he had 2 assault rifles on his, resting on himself in the car, saying that I dare one of the monkeys to come to this track meet today. But
Time
this
out. They maybe it's that hair dye in her head, trying to be like white people. Your hair is not blonde, woman, and that dye seeking through and getting your brain messed up.
What?
Guys like him is sick, bro. We've been doing all that shit since back in Africa. Dying everything, bro. Leave it be, y'all. Leave it be. Let's get back to it. Just leave it be, bro. We've been doing those things, bro.
Where you see a video of of Austin Metcalf saying, with an AR-15 saying, I want monkeys to come to the track meet?
I didn't hear about that. I didn't hear about that. I can't say that I did. I didn't hear about that from any of my sources, that they said he said that. But if it's in the rinse, if it's in the wash, it'll come out in the rinse. We'll hear about it. But I can't confirm that he did say that. But we did see an image with I think we saw an image with the AK or the assault rifles. I think I saw one of those images too. But I didn't hear of him saying that. So if that's in the wash, it will come out in the rinse.
You get that at? You just made that up, sis. Because y'all ain't got no facts on your side. You made it up.
Here's the funny part. First off, listening skills. She never said video, she said picture. So that's strike one. Secondly, there is a picture of what she's talking about, describing Austin Metcalf and saying, oh, you monkeys and everything. That's the second thing. The third thing is the picture was actually shown.
Thank you, Amazing Lucas. Wait a minute, bro. That's crazy work right there, bro. I actually dropped the picture. Hold up. Yeah, picture on screen. I dare one of those monkeys to show up to the track meet today with the hand joint, with the laser focus, and the assault thing with the laser focus as well. That's nasty work. So it seemed like he was trying to be the aggressor for real with that right there. I never saw this. I saw an image of him and maybe his brother holding weapons, but I never saw this image. That's crazy, yo. That gives us some context into maybe Austin Metcalf's mindset, how he thinks, okay? Many people saying he was a bully, you know, some people saying this and this and that. I like to just report the facts. As we get every fact, we report it. That's how I like to deal with things. But that right here is crazy. That's insanity to me. Insane. I could see where his father, he inspired him because his pops most definitely was a racist. And it seems like he was influencing his children to be the same thing. And that's sad. That's really, really sad because they always tell you racism is taught and it's a learned behavior. So that's just crazy.
Driving Austin Metcalf and saying, oh, if you monkeys and everything. That's the second thing. The third thing is the picture was actually shown to be a fake. So the one time in his life that he actually has a layup, right? A layup in his hand, talking about, hey, she doesn't.
Look, they said the picture's determined to be fake. We living in a world of AI. This is crazy what AI is doing, bro. People are crazy, bro. So it's a report saying that that image is fake. Let's just put that on the board. Let's not run with nothing. If that come out to be real, we're going to get on that and say that's real. But it's back and forth with that right there. So we just can't stamp it 100% and say Austin had that and wrote that comment. Okay, we did see Austin with weapons, but you could possess weapon. They're in Texas, right? Open carry state, right? Same way how Karmelo could have had that little 3.5-inch knife. Same way, right? Go to Texas Penal Code 46.03, and it goes into weapons. Weapons being 5.5 inches, and the weapon that Karmelo had was not a legally prohibited weapon. Even though we understand that weapons are not supposed to be in school, just read over Texas Penal Code 46.03, and it goes into weapons on school grounds. That's what the Texas Penal Code is talking about specifically. So we don't have to guess. Just read into that. I'm going to get into that probably a little bit later, if not tomorrow. Let's get back.
Know what she's talking about. That's shown to be a fake. This is why misinformation is so dangerous. He doesn't even do it. What does he do? He mocks her and then tries to dismiss it, even though he's completely ignorant of what she's referring to. Goofiness.
I miss you like a hog miss fly.
And then lastly, we have Black conservative perspective. Now, for whatever reason, he seems to, take a fancy to me. I don't know. He seems to like me or whatever. But he's trying to convince his audience that I believe that I'm more intelligent than I am. But in doing so, he shows how low IQ he actually is.
It's like watching zoo animals, right?
I miss you like a hog miss fly.
One of these individuals, I think, is a great example of somebody who believes that they're a lot smarter than they actually are. And I think that one of the best signs of intelligence is somebody who really understands how smart they are, right? They understand, okay, I'm of average intelligence.
I'm back today to talk to you about how to correct a lisp.
I'm not the smartest, right? I'm not dumb, but I'm also not the smartest. That actually makes you smarter than an individual who otherwise is a smart person, right? But they think they're smarter than they are, right? That makes them dumber than they actually are. And I hope that people understand what I'm saying, because I think that perfectly defines the amazing Bob, who is not a very smart person, but he believes that he's smarter than he actually is, which makes him dumber than he is, even though he's not very smart in the first place.
Now, Greg, if you're watching this, I want you to Google one word, okay? Verbosity. Okay, can you do that for me, little buddy? This man spent 5 minutes, took multiple cuts, trying to sound intelligent while trying to put me down, and all the meantime, looking like a complete chipmunk. I mean, side note, does anyone know what his issue is, right? Because it looks like his cheeks are swollen like a chipmunk. And from what I've heard is that he was actually born a woman.
Oh.
And that would explain, if we're going to be honest, that would explain like the pubes on his face that he tries to pass off as a beard. I genuinely do not know what's holding that cap on because I see no hair there. So I don't know. Maybe the hairline starts back there. I don't know. But that would explain a lot if he's taking, TRT. That's why that would explain the patches in the beard and, the malfigured face and everything. Just really weird looking, individual.
He's out of line, but he's right.
But besides the point, the word that he was trying to explain was Dunning-Kruger effect. That's what he spent 10 minutes trying to explain to his low IQ audience, is that Dunning-Kruger effect. Is that this person thinks that they're more competent than what they actually are. I mean, the jokes write themselves at this point in time. But at the end of the day, anyone who's trying to frame black people defending Karmelo Anthony as, they're just defending him because he's black. No, that's what you guys do. As we see with Shiloh Hendricks, as we see with Daniel Penny, as we see with, what's his name? Chud the Builder, as we see hell even with Kyle Rittenhouse. Another factor that I brought up is that the only thing that caused Kyle Rittenhouse to get off was him going on the stand and him having that infamous moment of him. That's the only thing that got him off. Once again, questions arise. Why didn't they have Karmelo Anthony go to the stand? He could have very well explained the knife. Why did you bring it? And secondly, hey, what happened? Why did you fear that your life was in such serious bodily injury that you poked this guy, right? What was going through your head at that time? How did you come to that conclusion to use lethal force? Once again, the issue that I have is with the defense, because it's either, as I said, gross incompetence, right? Gross negligence, or they're in on it. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys.
Can't say I disagree with him there, man. Why didn't Karmelo speak for his own self? I think that he was the best person to speak for himself. He was the best person. He could have put you right into his mindset. Again, there's so many questions that even the family, the Metcalf family, still have, even though they may feel that they've received some justice and he has been sentenced to 35 years, but they still have questions in their mind. They just don't want to think, okay, their son was being aggressive and that's why he did it. They want to know, what are you thinking? That jury needed to know, what were you thinking at the time? Many people saying he was being jumped. We can't see him really being jumped from the footage. We do see altercations pretty far, pretty blurry. But I think him getting on that stand, even though that prosecutor was cooking, I think he was also told not to by Toby Shook, allegedly. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think that's what I heard. But I think that he could have went to speak about his mindset, about what he was feeling, about the pressure that he was under, about him being grabbed, about him being pushed, about him sitting down the whole time, not being aggressive, right? He could have spoke about his mindset of when he warned them and said, listen, don't come over here, I got something or whatever. Could have probably spoke on the other witness saying that someone told Austin, listen, hold on, Austin, I think he got something in his bag. And then Austin saying, listen, he ain't got nothing in his bag, this Frisco. He could have spoke on all of those things. He could have spoke on being surrounded. He could have spoke to even the remorse, okay? Because we do see him being kind of remorseful, talking to the cops. Then also on the football field, after he runs towards the exit of the field, he's stopped by a female staff member who walks him over to a male coach. The male coach walks with him back towards where the altercation happened. You'll see him step aside for a minute. He gets distracted, goes towards the gate, and he comes back towards Karmelo. He tells Karmelo, you might have messed your life up, son, if this boy passes away. You see Karmelo have a reaction. He goes like this, You see the coach hug Karmelo. You see Karmelo looking like he's sobbing with his head down in the coach. You could see this from the distant footage. Karmelo puts his hand around the coach too as well. So you can see that he is expressing some kind of remorse for the situation. He even asked his arresting officer, Cortez, he even asked him, is he going to be okay? Which then Cortez told him, I don't know, but he moved right on because he was still processing everything. And Karmelo had some blood on his hand. This is what he told Karmelo, hold up, don't lean back, sit right there. And we seen that photograph of the blood on his hand end up in the prosecution's photographs. Now, again, if he was able to get up there, regardless if he got tripped up by the prosecutors or not, I think that he could have been able to speak for himself, his mindset, all of the things that he was feeling, if he felt he was going to be jumped, all of those things. But he also could have expressed his remorse to say, listen, I didn't intend to do that. That wasn't my intention. You know, we wouldn't have to guess, did Austin fall on the weapon? Did his momentum while he's going to grab Karmelo and Karmelo pulling out the weapon? Was that the case here? We wouldn't have to. But if he was able to express his remorse in front of that jury, maybe he doesn't get 35. Maybe he does, who knows? But maybe he doesn't get 35 years if he's able to express his remorse, you know? So again, this is a bad situation on both sides. There are no winners in this situation. Some people are saying, you know, Austin deserved it and that's what he needed to get, you know what I'm saying? Whether he's white, whether he's black, Indian, Chinese, whatever the case may be, he's a young kid. Carmelo's a young kid as well. I just believe that Austin didn't really know that him putting his hands on Karmelo, which we try to tell people, and I know we tell our children, I know people told me that when I was younger, don't be going around putting your hands on people for no reason, especially in a place like Texas. We've got to stand your ground and different things going on. So, but I know he didn't think him putting his hands on Karmelo would have led to him being unalive, and Karmelo didn't think him pulling out that weapon would have led to him getting 35 years. So again, it's losses on both sides of the families. On Metcalf's side of the family, on Anthony's side of the family, Metcalf lost their son forever, and Hunter lost his twin brother. And Anthony's family has lost their son to the prison system. We understand that getting into the jail system, the prison system is very easy. One of the hardest things to do is to get up out of there, okay? How fast will he get an appeal? Usually appeal processes take very long. It could be 6 years or so. 5-6 years that he gets an appeal. But with this new legal team, with Gary Bledsoe, Brooke Cluse, and Russell Wilson II, maybe they get to pushing the system to see if he can get more of a, you know, a speedy revisal of the whole situation. You know, they said that they're going to be working hard on this case right here to see anything that was messed up, anything that was wrong in his case. And it seemed like he needed people like this on his side fighting this case from the very, very beginning. Again, the defense was shoddy, lackluster. You know, some people say the fix was in, some people said they was in on it. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But it's just hard to think what else. Some people say you get what your money buys you, you know what I mean? Some people say that as well. But I just think that they could have did a much better job in representing Karmelo Anthony. And one thing, after he got convicted of 35 years and he got convicted and sentenced, I think one of the things that's going to be in his mind every day that he goes in that cell and he lays on that bed is, what would have happened if I spoke for myself? That's one thing you think about. What would have happened? Could I have helped myself? Could I have spoke for myself? The defense called about, I think, maybe 5 witnesses or 6 witnesses or so. One witness even going against Karmelo and saying that they felt that Karmelo was in the wrong. You know what I mean? How do you call people that's speaking against you, not in your favor? What type of lackluster defense is that? You're going to call a witness that's going to flip after we bring him up and on cross-examination say that he feels, or the witness itself feels, that Karmelo's in the wrong. That's crazy. That's crazy. So it's either y'all just imbeciles, right? Which I can't believe that these people are lawyers. These people have to go through a lot of schooling to become who they are. Or the fix is in. It's just hard to believe that it's either, you know what I mean? That it's not either or, you know, so I can understand why some people thinking that the fix is in. Again, the jury of your peers doesn't mean that it's going to be black people. You know, we understand that with certain juries and juries being or white or black, different procedural errors with juries, you could go into a Batson challenge, which is Batson versus Kentucky. You can look up Batson versus Kentucky. I don't know if his case really qualifies for Batson versus Kentucky. The Batson challenge is called. I don't know, but I know that they'll be looking into the Batson challenge as well to see if that can aid him as well, as far as some jury misconduct with the jury. But we do know that the prosecutors was objecting from day one, from jury selection objection. They was throwing their objections around like Oprah. You get an objection, you get an objection, you get objections. They was throwing objections around. People that I had in the court was saying, listen, they only heard about 1, 2, 3 objections. Whole time. I said, you kidding me? I said, no. 1, 2 objections. What type of thing is that? You gotta object in that court, man. You got to. And did he try? They was objecting everything. No, listen, Your Honor, hold up. We bringing up a motion. Hold up, Your Honor. Putting everything on the record. Everything got on that record, man. You gotta make sure you put everything on the record in front of the judge and raise all of your complaints and all of your queries in front of the judge. You know what I mean? This is how you get to find those loopholes in the retrial or when it comes to his appeal. So again, I just think that Karmelo's in the best position now with, you know, not only Gary Bledsoe, with a civil rights attorney in Brooke Cluse, and with a veteran appellate attorney, a veteran. So I mean, you got a mixture. You kind of got a little all-star team now. You know what I'm saying? You got a little mixture now. You got a veteran appellate attorney who knows how to deal with the appeals in the appellate courts. Got that. You got Brooke Cluse, who's probably going to be like a mouthpiece, running around talking about civil rights and rights of Karmelo Anthony and all of that. And then you got a veteran president of the NAACP in Gary Bledsoe. So I don't know, man. I just think that he's in the best position now. Who knows how long this takes? A lot of times on the appeal, your first time to the board, you know, it's usually denied. Your first couple of times are usually denied. You know what I mean? Some people are saying he has to do half of that, 17.5 years before he's even up for anything. If it all goes wrong, worst case scenario, he could be doing 20 something years, 23, 24, 25 years. Who's to say out of that sentence? You know, wishful thinking. Some people say that he could probably get out 15, 10. They saying all types of numbers. I hear people throwing around. That's wishful thinking. Plus you're in a place like Texas. It's not a game. Very Scraces there. I had an older cousin, Bodman from back in the days, was with the Duppy Energy, was with that thing. He was locked up in Texas. They gave his ass about 10, 15 years. He did about 10 years and owed Texas 5 years. But he spoke to me about those racisms. He talked to me about those prison guards in there, that how they treat you, how they be trying to set you up, how they try to line you up. It's not so much like in your county jail, where it's more about gangs and stuff like that. It's more about race-based situations. Black people with black people, Spanish with Spanish, white with white. You know, you got them skinheads in there, all of that going on. Then you got people such as prison guards, as well as inmates, that even though the Metcalfs has received some justice with him getting 35 years, they still want to enact their level of justice on you and feel that you haven't paid the ultimate price. So not only he's going to need money for protection, all right, hopefully he can have some money for some kinds of protection, but these people in there is lifers. You're around people that, you got 35 years, you're around lifers, people that never seen a woman in years, okay? They looking to make you a woman. This is what's going on in jail. We got to speak like this so young people understand what the hell's going on out here, because they think prison is a bed of roses, and it's not a bed of roses, okay? People are trying to take your butt. I'm saying it just like that, because you have to hear what the hell's going on out here. And they're going to be trying to do such things to Karmelo Anthony, man. Do not get that twisted. They're going to be trying to take his manhood. They're going to be trying to take his life, okay? They're going to be trying to take his life. So hopefully, maybe he turned to Islam. You know, a lot of black brothers turn to Islam because, you know, Islam is real unified. You know, multiple races of people also are Islamic as well. So it's not just about black people. You also got white people. You also got Spanish people. You also got other races of people that are Islamic as well. And they believe in that brotherhood and believe in, you know, not, you know what I mean, doing your brother wrong. So I don't know who's going to help him, but he's going to need some help immediately. He's going to need immediate help. You're in there with people that's lifers again, man. People big like houses, man. You know, remember the guy on Life? You eating that cornbread? I want that cornbread. Big people, 6 foot something, been working out for 20 years, okay? For this specific reason. I had one friend that went to jail for unaliving someone in Brooklyn, okay? The next time I heard about my friend, he was somebody's girlfriend, man. This is true things that I'm telling you. This is not a joke. He was dressed as a woman and he was somebody's girlfriend, okay? Things were happening to him there. They took his manhood, all right? And he just succumbed to everything that it was, man. He became someone's girlfriend. He was dressed as a woman, man. This is not a nice place, and especially in the South, and not just the South, but a place like Texas, that's that South. You know what I mean? Very red state. You know what I mean? You unalive the young white boy. People want to get some justice out of you too. You know what I mean? So, you know, prayers go out for Karmelo as well, man. Prayers go out to him. Again, RIP to Austin Metcalf. You know what I mean? Regardless of the fact some people saying that he deserved to be passed away. I don't believe that. I think he's a child, bro. I think they both kids. They never got a chance to have a baby. They never had a chance to really enjoy a woman, grow up, you know what I mean? Use those grade point averages that you have to get a job, to get a woman, to lead a family, to raise a child, to become something in society. They both did not have a chance right now. Their chances have been ended with that right now. Maybe Karmelo's alive, though. That's one thing you could say. He is alive, right? But who knows when he comes out? Does he come out when he's in his 40s? Does he come out in his 50s? If he serves his whole sentence, he'd be like 55 or something like that when he comes out. So, you know, only God knows what the answer is going to be. But I'm just telling you, from the stories that I heard, especially from Texas, I have a lot of people, I have friends, okay? A lot of my friends, they've done a lot of things. It's crazy. I'm telling you the truth, man. Friends is doing 10s, 20s, 25, 30. I got one friend that's doing 70 years, another friend that's doing 40. Okay. I hear the stories. People talk to me. They told me what the hell's going on. I'm telling you what the hell's going on. Okay. And the crazy thing about it is this might not be the last time that Karmelo have to do that, man. And that's the sad situation. People are going to be pressing you to see if you can do that again. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, he didn't pull one of those, you know, because anybody could pull one of those from far and unalive somebody. It takes a different type of level to poke somebody because you feel that. It's up close and personal, and you actually feel that as the knife goes in, the knife has ridges. You feel all of that. You feel that whole entire energy. You know what I'm saying? Some people say why he ran. Of course he was scared, man. He was scared, bro. And after you do something like that, it's a scary thing to do. It's a very, very scary thing to do. It takes a sick, psychotic person to just unalive people and not care, go to sleep and get good rest every night. People I know that did it, they couldn't sleep at night. They was getting tortured by their victims in their mind, okay? Straight up, even though they felt they was right and they did it for the right reason. But that don't mean that when you got a heart and you got a conscience, it's gonna bother you. It takes a different kind of a mind to go to sleep at night after you do those types of things, man. I'm just telling you right now, from what I've seen in my own life, from lived experiences, I'm telling you exactly what the hell is going on. So again, you know what I'm saying? Anybody that's saying this, saying that, we trying to just report the facts. Again, I'm waiting for the transcripts. I've been in contact with people in Texas. I've been in contact with the court reporters as well. I'm just waiting to see when I'll be able to get it. I'm in contact again, maybe call them again, talk to them again. I was given the numbers and given emails to contact them. So I'm going to try to go about getting the transcripts again. A couple of my other people are on the hunt for the transcripts. So once they get it, I'm going to get it in my hands like this, open says me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to get it in my hands. And then we can start to going through the facts of the case, not just our opinions. Everybody got this case is a very charged case. It's giving everybody a lot of energy. People are arguing today on panels about it. I uploaded one little short, a video about it. It's a lot going on. You know, a very emotional case, not just for the Anthonys, not just for the Metcalf family, but for a lot of us. You know, it's a very emotional case. Some people putting themselves in a situation. They got children, you know what I'm saying? And right now, Austin and Karmelo right now will be like my son's age right now. My son's 18, about to be 19 years old. Karmelo's 19 right now. And RIP to Austin also would have been around the same age right now. So as a father, you know, I can't say I'm happy about these things for both sides. Again, you know what I mean? One is lost to the grave. One is lost to that jail system. One of the hardest things to do is make it out that jail system, especially if you're in there, you're getting write-ups, you're getting tickets, you're doing violence still. You could go in there. I know people that went to prison for a year, couple of years or something, a little small time, got like 5 years, 4 years, couple of years, 1 year, 2 years, end up serving 15, end up serving life in jail. Just because you had to get somebody up off him. It's real like that. Everybody that goes to that doesn't mean that you're going to make it out of it. It doesn't mean that. I had one friend that passed away in their mysterious circumstances. Talk about he had an asthma attack. These people being there, you be beefing with these guards, they be strong arming you, beating you up, putting you in the hole in isolation, doing things to you, playing with your food, throwing things in your food, put feces in your food, all types of things they doing to you in these places. It's not no nice place. Prison is not your house. It's not your living room, man. It's hell. If you've never seen hell, don't go to prison. Prison is hell. It's actual hell on earth. Okay? If you've never seen hell, understand that prison is hell. And I'm not lying to you about this shit, man. This is a fact that I'm telling y'all, all right? So make sure that we out here talking to our children, not giving up on our children, getting our children to talk to us. Sometimes I talk to my son. He got his own attitude problem. Sometimes it be giving me a little depression because I'm trying to talk to him and figure out what's wrong with him, figure out what's going on in his mind. I'm all right, Dad. I'm okay, Dad. And he don't want to talk about it. But we got to stay steadfast. We can't give up on our children, and not only our children, we need to be able to speak to some young people out here. So every man listening to my voice, make sure you're trying to help a young guy out there, man. Drop some jewels on them. Help them to not get led astray. Help them to not go into some of the things that I know I've been through, that we've been through, that if you ain't been through it, that we have seen. Help them to not get caught up in the drugs, the drug dealing, the drug selling, the drug using. Had one of my friends, he went to go sniff something. Guess what it had in it? Fentanyl. My friend Josh is no longer here no more. Breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. He came home from jail, did 2 years in jail, came home. And the next day, first day he came home, went with some people, sniffed something in his nose, had fentanyl in it, and he died. He didn't even get the chance to see his family. He just came from prison. He had 3 kids. He had a baby's mom. He wasn't married to her. They were separated, but he had 3 kids. He didn't even get a chance. You know, he chilling. He just came home. He went to the block. He's seeing a couple of the friends, a couple of his cousins, his friends from the block, went, go chill, did that, and passed away. His kids didn't even get a chance to see him. How hard is that? How hard is that? Okay, so we need to be able to speak to these young people out here. And if you're a woman listening to my voice, talk to these young women as well. Talk to these young girls out here. Help them to not get caught up with no knuckleheads running around carrying drugs for nobody, doing anything like this. Help them to not go through some of the things that you have seen, right? Or some of the things that you have been through, okay? That is the future. The children are the future. We may never get accredited for helping these young people, but guess what? That's how we take the future by the reins, by helping some of them, okay? So let's stay there by our children, our family members, but also let's lean our knowledge to helping some younger people out here as much as you can, anywhere that you can. Lend a hand to a young person today, man. You already know the vibe. I appreciate everybody that's in the building. Queen Brielle, CJ Brooks, I got to tell true stories. Lord, I got to tell you what the hell going on. And that's what's going on in prison. That was going on. People was taking people manhood in Rikers Island in New York where I'm at. And that's just a county jail. It's craziness. I'm like, it's not even prison. It's a regular jail. Had a guy named Dead On Row knock you out, take your buttercup. That's what was happening. Straight cheese. I got to tell you the truth. Just like that. Because young people need to hear it when I hear it, when I say it. You know what I'm saying? In a place like that, real prison where real lifers are, some people never seen a girl in 30 years. They're never going to see a girl. The only women that they see are the prison guards coming by. Maybe they get a visit. If you married in some state, some place, you get a conjugal visit. Sometimes you got to get married to even have that. Does he have a girlfriend? Is he married? He's a young kid. Will he get married? Does he have a pen pal? How does that go? That's a whole process in itself. It's a whole process in itself, you know? So again, man, RIP to Austin Metcalf, regardless of the fact, man. The heart goes out to Karmelo Anthony too as well, because he has an uphill climb. And he's in a very, very bad situation. But maybe with this new legal team that has assembled around him, maybe this gives him his best fighting chance to get that appeal. Salute to everybody that watched with us today, man. I will be going live a little bit later as well. I want everybody to make sure you're dropping likes, sharing, subscribing, hit the notification bell so you're notified when I'm bringing new content. I am going to assemble a team of some people. I'm trying to get Meek, Mel, Sheba, bring them all on the channel, on my channel, because they all love me. Come so that we can all kind of speak about this case, kind of letting more developments come out so that we have more things to talk about, more things to put on the board. I'll try to even bring Calvin, who is a defense attorney that's on Mel's channel, Watching the World 777, and he worked out of Collin County about several times. He works out of Texas, Dallas, and many courts around there. So he can also give us an insight to, just the terrain and to how it's looking for him, or maybe what his chances of this appeal and him winning it even looks like. So salute to everybody. I love y'all all. Make sure you're all staying on go with OOTA. Hit the videos, go to my short section, drop some likes on some videos. I've uploaded a few things. Video section, drop likes, share if you can. Short section, drop likes, share if you can. Anything that you can do helps me when you liking and subscribing and hitting the notification bell. So I appreciate all of y'all. OOTA, OOTA, OOTA. Always on go.
All my niggas from the OOTA. All my niggas turn shooters. OOTA. All my ops turn racks. All my niggas turn shooters. On the internet, you ain't been as right. You been stuck in a computer. All my niggas turn shooters. OOTA. All my ops turn racks. All my niggas from the OOTA. All my niggas turn shooters. All my ops turn racks. All my niggas